Everyone, Brendan here from Athena Intelligence. Today we're going to walk through one of our newest items that is getting a ton of use, what we refer to as our effort dial. So effort dial for us is a way to ensure that an AI agent, such as Athena, spends a certain amount of time or effort on a given task. And we define this by number of minutes. So imagine not, you don't have access to an effort dial and I just say, let's research the Athena Intel company for a few minutes. Now, today, there's no notion of minutes for these AI models. So if I told it, hey, we need to spend 20, 30 minutes on something, uh, it's not going to do that. It'll actually spend a certain amount of time, hopefully enough for the agent to find some useful information. But a lot of times, it'll only take one or two searches. There's new tools that are hitting the market, such as OpenAI's Deep Research, which are specifically fine-tuned and trained to do longer running research-based tasks. But this is a static operation. So what do we mean by that? Is the OpenAI Deep Research will always do, between 5 and 20 minutes of research. There's many scenarios where you want it to do exactly 5 minutes, or hey, I want to do 30 minutes, or maybe even an hour of research. So what we'll do here is we'll show a quick before and after of two different examples. So this is, again, the example of us not putting any effort in. And it did, two searches, found some information, and then began to respond. This might be helpful when I want a quick response, but let's try that again. And instead, I'm going to turn on the effort dial for 15 minutes and continue doing more research. And in this case, it's going to kick off that 15-minute interval. And we can see that right here in the bottom right. And then if we switch tabs, let's say we're working on something else, we have a nice little indicator of that work is still happening. Let's take another example here, and I'll open up a new tab, and I'll actually go through a few other ways that we're going to see some value in putting together an effort dial. So not only does this work for research-based workflows, but let's imagine now that we're creating a document, maybe a proposal, or in finance, maybe we're putting together a financial model, so a spreadsheet, or more technical domains like a Jupyter notebook, or writing some Python code, or maybe browsing the internet with a web browser. We can do that same experience where we can actually set an effort dial, let's say 5 minutes in this case, and let's research the latest F1 teams and put them in a well-formatted spreadsheet. Great. So now I give it access to the internet as well as a spreadsheet. And I'm just going to say keep formatting the spreadsheet until I can keep it as so. And just for fun, let's bump this up to, let's do 10 minutes of work. Great. So we've kicked off two effort dials for two different conversations. And again, in both of those, we're setting different toolkits in order to give it time to spend on different tasks. Now we could be a bit more specific and ask the system, with the time you have allocated left, make sure you're spending it on formatting or continuing to do research, or maybe some other exercise. So that way it's able to use that extra time effectively. And then our final answer we'll look at here in a second will provide us the ability to get more salient outputs that require less review from a human because the agent spent more time on it. All right, I thought we'd check in here as we're about halfway through both of the effort dials. We can see the first one has gotten some pretty deep understanding of our company based on the research. It's continuing to do more work. Looks like it's putting together more varying levels of searches. And again, it's consolidating them at each turn in order to provide a more updated research report. So let this one continue to run. And then on the right-hand side, what you'll notice is we have a first pass at this spreadsheet based on information that's found on the internet. And now it's continuing to search, identify, and then format. We'll check in again in a couple minutes and see the ending and the final work.